Hey there nation, welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander CheapSkate, and we are back with another edition of the Spoils of War. These are a series of videos that are dedicated to Spear, Cigar, as well as Whiskey reviews. And on this episode, we are reviewing CAO's Brasilia in a Lambada size, which is about a Toro. It's about 6 inches by 50/64 of an inch in diameter. This comes in a beautifully colored Maduro wrapper. It's got a nice kind of toothy finish to it, really nice toothy texture to it as well. It's got a triple cap on it as well, as you can see. It's also got really nice aromas as well. So I've been looking forward to reviewing this stick for a while. So we'll be lighting this cigar up, talking a little bit about the company that created it, a little bit more about the actual cigar itself, some of the features about it, and then of course we'll go through the review, testing out the first third, second third, as well as final third of the cigar, and giving our thoughts about it. And as always, these videos are dedicated to our brother-in-arms across the ocean, so Big Puka, if you're watching these videos, buddy, this one is dedicated to you. So let's go ahead and get this one on a roll. Alright, so let's go and talk a little bit more about the cigar, where it actually comes from. So the company that makes this cigar is called CAO, that's the name of the company. It's located within Esteli, I believe it's how you pronounce it, Esteli, Nicaragua, is actually where the factory is located at as well. And CAO has actually been around for quite a while. I think it's been around since the mid-1960s as a company. Originally got to start off making tobacco, pipe tobaccos for they originally were creating. That's what they were originally known for. But then they decided to break into the cigar making game, and CAO is actually one of the most well-known brands of cigars that are out there in the world. The reason why that is the case is because a lot of their brands and a lot of the lines that they have for their product lineup have some really good reviews, as well as some really high 90+ ratings on for different cigars, as well as cigar aficionados. Some of the things that they're known for their regional tobacco cigar lines like Italia, America, as well as Colombia, including Brasilia. And these are cigars that feature binders and wrappers that feature locally grown tobacco from those regions. So for example, the American features American tobacco, while the Italia uses Italian tobacco, things of that nature. They're also known for another really successful cigar known as the Flathead 660. It is a box press cigar that is 6 inches by 64 of an inch in diameter. It's a huge cigar, but it's also more like, I think, got like a 93 rating as well. And another one, which is this one here, the Brasilia, actually has a 91 rating as well. So a little bit of features about this one. According to what the website says and a lot of things that they say, they actually spent a couple of years kind of developing the cigar. What makes the cigar a little bit special is that the actual wrapper as well as the binder. So if you actually flip it over the inside here, you can actually see the edge of the wrapper as well as the binder. Let me get focused a little bit. So you can see they got the different layers. The circular layer of the cigar, which is the binder, the wrapper, is actually made out of Maduro tobacco leaves that are grown in Brazil. That's the name Brasilia, and that's where it actually comes from. The Maduro wrapping of the Maduro actually has a very distinct flavor that kind of does a lot to attribute to the cigar's unique flavor profile that you get from it as well. Also, the filler that's inside the cigar is actually from Nicaragua, so because of that you have some nice Nicaraguan notes as well. Nicaraguan cigars are known for their zestiness as well as their spiciness, and when compared with the rich flavors of Maduro, you get a winning combination, thus their 91+ rating on the cigar. So that's a little bit about the history about the cigar as well as the company that makes it. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the cigar real quick, see what kind of aromas we get from it. So I'm going to inhale a little bit of it, see what kind of aromas, notes we get from the aromas. So first of all, the notes that we get off this is very earthy, kind of like a strong, earthy kind of like, I want to say kind of like a nutty kind of aroma with it, kind of like a coffee, toasted coffee kind of aroma. I'm gonna go and try again real quick. Very mild earth aroma, mixed with a little bit of a dark coffee nose. I'm kind of getting as well, a little bit of nuttiness in the back end of it, kind of like a pine nut type of aroma on the back end. So it's actually a very nice smelling cigar. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and punch this real quick. We'll punch this up with the puncture the cap with a punch. We'll then go and light it up and then go through our review for the initial light. And we'll go to the first third, the second third, and the final third of the cigar and talk about what kind of aromas and flavors we get from that. Okay, so we are back. As you can see here, we've actually punched the cap on this one, also lit up initially. So it's got a nice little burn going on. So let's go ahead and give what our initial flavors and notes are that we're getting off the cigar. So let's go ahead and give this a couple of puffs and talk about what kind of flavors we're getting. Right off the bat, you got that really strong Maduro flavor coming off of it. It's just got kind of like that kind of strong dark coffee notes is what you're kind of getting as well. The aroma on it is very aromatic. It still has that very earthy kind of aroma to it, as well as a coffee aroma as well. Very strong flavors as well. With that coffee flavor going through, which is to be expected, especially with the Maduro cigar. Kind of like this as well. And actually, for the spiciness on the cigar, considering that it's a Nicaraguan, is actually pretty mild as well. In fact, let me go ahead and take another puff on this real quick. The spiciness on this is very, very mild, which is actually kind of cool for a Nicaraguan cigar as well. So the zestiness is very, very mild at this point. Same thing with the spiciness. On the retrohale, you do get a little bit more of the zest on the retrohale, but overall, very rich coffee aromas as well as earth notes throughout. A little bit of nuttiness, a little bit of that pine nut kind of flavoring coming through for me in this point. So it's very, very delicious at this point. So we're going to go ahead and heat this up a little bit more. We'll go through the first third of the cigar and come back with our reviews on that. So here we go. Okay, so we are now back with the first third. It's been about 15 minutes, so it's a nice kind of even burn. It's got a good kind of burn time on it as well. The smoke output for this cigar has increased over that 15-minute time period as well. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the flavors we get from the first third. Very much that rich kind of coffee flavor with that pine nut finish is definitely flavored throughout the entire cigar. The earthiness of it has kind of subsided a little bit because we now have more of like a zesty, spicy note coming through. The zestiness has become more prevalent over the first third. It's not overpowering anyway or too peppery in any way. It's still a nice, smooth finish. So far it's doing pretty good. Pretty even consistency throughout, and the flavor is delicious all the way through the first third. So now we're entering the second third now. We're going to come back after we get through that second third and talk about some of the flavors we get from that. All right, let's go and continue this on. All right, so now we are back now with the second third. As you can see, we're about halfway through the cigar. Also halfway through the second third as well. Burn time so far has been about 45 minutes, so it's a really good long burn, especially since this is a Toro as well, which is kind of nice. I'm probably estimating this being an hour and a half, maybe an hour 20 minutes in total length when it comes to the burn. So we're now into the second third, so let's go ahead and take a couple puffs on it, see what kind of flavors we get from it. Very much the smoke output still very on point, so it's doing fine right there. Same thing with the flavor, the coffee flavor with its nutty afternotes with that pine nut kind of after flavor. Still pretty strong as well as prevalent throughout the entire flavor. Zestiness, oddly enough, is a little bit mellow this time as opposed to the first third. The first third, the zestiness was very, very prominent, but this time it's kind of more mellowed out, which makes it actually very surprising. Overall, a very excellent cigar so far. So with that being said, we're going to go and go through this last second third and start going to the final third, and we will be back with the final third review. So let's get this on. Okay, so now we are back with the final third of the cigar. As you can see, we've burned through the first 2/3 of it. We're now into the final third, and so with that, we go with the final tasting, what kind of notes we get from the flavors as well as the aromas. So let's go give this last third a couple of puffs here real quick. Once again, the final third has gone very, very mellow at this point. The coffee flavor as well as the pine nut aftertaste has kind of subsided at this point. It's getting a little bit more of an ashy consistency, and I think it has to do with more the fact that this is the final third of the cigar more than anything else. The zest has returned, but I think that's because we're now into the final third of the cigar, so the heat is drawing closer to the nub, to the foot at the head of the cigar. So because of that, I think that's where most of the zestiness and the pepperiness is coming from as well. Let's go ahead and take another puff real quick. Smoke output is still very strong on the cigar. Very, very smooth with just the zestiness left over. So yeah, that's going to do it for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Google+, as well as blogger.com for all the latest and greatest about our hobby news. That's going to do it for this one, you guys. You guys stay classy. Peace out, you guys.